Hello everyone, Bits and Bobs is with you, as is Conor McKeon. Conor, hi.
Hi, Joe.
Been a while, and Will Slattery as well. Hello, Will.
Hey, Joe.
Been 1 month since your last confession together.
What?
Yeah.
It's too long, Connor.
It is.
Too long.
Missed you.
We can't get the dynamic going. We can't kind of build a rapport when you
Stilted.
invited us in so
This
infrequently.
feels awfully stilted. For a Friday.
Feel like Ireland against New Zealand in a week's time in Chicago. Just, you know. Jackie McCarthy O'Brien's worth a listen, by the way. People haven't really listened to it because, you know.
Yet.
Yes, I'd give it a polite encouragement. You know, people tell you they want interesting people with interesting stories on, but in reality, in the privacy of their phone, they're like, "Oh, Man United beaten, I'd play." This is one that you should really give a listen to. If you are 10 minutes in and you turn it off, then all is forgiven. But I firmly suspect you won't. So just to mention, that is really worth a listen. It's in your feed. It is one of, without question, the better interviews that we're going to do in our time together. However long that may be for Will. What have you heard? Weekend upcoming, so by the time lots of you hear this, you will know if the Republic of Ireland women have beaten, drawn or lost to Belgium at the Aviva Stadium. This is like a Nations League A or B relegation promotion playoff. I don't think the Carla Ward era has really caught fire yet, so we'll see how that goes. We'll circle back to that next week. The second leg is on Tuesday. On the football front then continued over the weekend. Manchester United Brighton on the Saturday is the 5:30 game. Here's a Sunday predicament for you for your pub dinner. 3-4 o'clock territory on your Sunday afternoon. 3:15 Real Madrid Barcelona. Shamrock Rovers on Virgin away to Derry. Win the league, not win the league. Could they lose the league at this stage? I mean, it's becoming
Going through
funny.
the permutations earlier. Theoretically, they can, but still looking unlikely. But if they lose a Derry, then it gets a little funny then. It's like, could this actually happen?
It does. And Everton Spurs on Sky. What will your average pub have on when you walk in?
Can they show Barcelona Madrid?
Premier Sports, they can.
They have it.
Huh?
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're within your rights to put on El Clasico, aren't you? League of Ireland fans come at me, I know, but
Depends what part of town you're in, I suppose.
It'll be the Premier League match.
you can't have Everton Spurs has to be last on that
No,
list.
Everton Spurs will be on every pub. I'd say 90% of the pubs. I would suspect.
Shameful. Shameful. Connor will be watching the Bank of Utah Championship on the PGA Tour. Goes off a cliff.
Oh, so bad.
Is this this season or next season?
It's year round now.
Yeah, it's year round.
But like, have
no,
we-
once the FedEx is over, once the Tour Championship is played, you're into...
Oh, it's next season.
Yeah.
So are you accruing FedEx Cup points
Yeah,
now?
very few FedEx Cup points because there's a little lift in 2 weeks when the race to Dubai, the annual Rory McIlroy coronation of, the race to Dubai winner, and we all get to sort of look at the lovely sunny vistas around that part of the world.
I like that.
It is nice, yeah. But if it wasn't the only thing on, it wouldn't get quite as much traction as it does.
Yeah, dies of death. URC, Connacht against Munster, and then Leinster against Zebre. That will be a hollow bonus point win for Leinster.
Well, there is the small matter of the number 23 jersey on Saturday.
The next Messiah.
The Austrian assassin. Have you heard of this guy, Connor?
Go on. This is noteworthy.
Okay.
Yeah, because Leinster have picked a very young team. Casper Gabriel, out half, 20 years old, from Austria, from Vienna, has been playing rugby in Ireland for maybe 5 or 6 years. Came over, basically was kind of spotted as a great talent in Austria. He had nowhere to play, so his dad sent him to school in Ireland, went to Tarnier, and since then he's been kind of being talked up as someone who could have a huge future, and he's making his Leinster debut against Zebre on Saturday. So the Sam Prendergast era gone, Crowley era gone. I think we're one second half cameo away from like legitimately people starting this narrative of, oh.
And how do you get spotted as being a rugby player of great potential in Austria?
Well, his father was like the president of the Austrian Union there, so his dad obviously knew the sport. And I read an article earlier, I think it was in the Sunday Times, Peter Riley had some details about it, that a guy from Tarnier owns a pub in Vienna, and it was through there they kind of hatched a plan to where should we send him to try to learn how to play rugby or play more rugby because he's such a good talent. So he ended up coming to school in Ireland.
And his dad's not Irish.
No, he's Austrian.
They just sent him over. They just hothoused him over here.
Yeah, they just said, let's go, send him here.
Oh, I didn't know that about him.
Yeah.
Because I've been hearing the name for a while. It's you don't forget Casper too easily.
Oh.
Doesn't ghost in and out of your mind.
That's only the first of many. There's so many ways you can go with him.
Oh,
Happy Friday!
oh God.
When are we going to get a Mozart reference though? When he's conducting the orchestra of the backline, like
Yeah. Are there any other famous Austrians?
There's a few. So this guy, the Leinster Zebra game, as you say, should be very straightforward. But maybe what time do you think? 5:30 kickoff. So maybe at around 6:45, you want to turn on for 20 minutes and to see if there's a glimpse of something that you'll be hearing about a lot.
Well, I saw there was a clip which went viral of the Leinster Munster
A game last
game.
Saturday. Yeah.
He throws a pass on his own try line there, which is, I mean, they'll knock that out of him soon enough. But it was
It
impressive.
was like a side door, one-handed, 50-meter offload. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
is that replicable like at the pro level?
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
not.
Like, my problem with rugby is just that it's extraordinarily boring. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, this guy sounds like exactly. I want rugby to be a team of Antoine Dupont's. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
So
Well, look, Casper Gabriel
The Austrian assassin.
debut.
lovely.
And then there's GAA club action, which obviously we can't mention all of. However, Kilkenny of interest this weekend. O'Loughlin Gales, Ballyhale Shamrocks, familiar foes in the Kilkenny County final, third time in 5 years they meet. It's the dugouts which I think kind of intrigue on a national level. Brian Hogan in one corner and Henry Shefflin back as Ballyhale manager in the other corner. Interestingly, they will be going in together as under-20 Kilkenny managers. Are they managers?
No,
Joe?
Shefflin's the manager.
Okay, and Hogan underneath them with them.
Yeah.
So Shefflin's the manager very, very soon. So it's a real kind of, he's back. In from the cold, Henry Shefflin, who with Ballyhale won 2 All-Irelands in 19 and 20, and people got very excited, obviously, and Galway took a punt on him. There was the Cody handshake, and even a name in Sweeney's book last year. God, I can't remember. Recent book, he was talking about watching the Kilkenny-Galway match on his kind of tour of games across the summer, and Kilkenny fans dishing out dogs abuse to Galway manager Henry Shefflin, and he was thinking, what a sad vista this is. And now, well, here he is, maybe on the cusp of county title with Ballyhale, but back in as Kilkenny under-20 manager, and the succession line is... I wonder, is Derek Ling looking over his shoulder a bit more nervous?
Yeah, but like Derek Ling himself was kind of the beneficiary of that succession line. He won an All-Ireland under 20, was it still 21 grade when he won it in 2018. That was the first time Kilkenny had won an All-Ireland at that grade for a while. And there was a sense that when Cody did go that, like, I think a lot of people who didn't, outside the Kilkenny hurling ecosystem where most of us exist, kind of, there was the assumption that Henry Shefflin would be the next manager just because of the status that he has in the game. But actually within Kilkenny, sort of Ling was seen as the sort of very thoughtful appointment, and that was almost automatic. And it was a case of whether Henry was going to wait around, and obviously he went for Galway. Galway, historically have been a bit of a stone in Kilkenny's shoe, so there would have been of all the counties, like one in the same province as well, and it just didn't go well. Like I'd love to get an honest sort of analysis from Henry or the players or whoever was around as to why they never got off the ground, but they just didn't.
Was it that bad?
Well, it wasn't good. Do you know?
They lost the Leinster final with the last kind of puck of a ball goal, which was a real killer. Like that would have at least been something tangible. But the semi-final, I think, in 2023, were they leading at halftime against Limerick?
Well, it was at that. No, Limerick got back either level or very, very close
By half-time.
So by half-time, you knew what was coming. It was
But the first 25 minutes.
Yeah, they did fine.
I don't think it was an abject disaster.
No, it wasn't an abject disaster, but in his last year, they were well beaten at home to Dublin.
Last year was fun. Yeah, the last year
was meh. It was meh.
It was meh, and it was only going one direction. But I suppose the next move wasn't that obvious because Ling was just getting his feet under the table. But now next year would be like Derek Ling has been there, sort of gone into his 5th year now, which is just mad how quickly that time passes.
It's crazy.
But
and has done a good job, I think.
Yeah, has done a good job. But it's going to be 11 years since Kilkenny won an All-Ireland at senior level. So, like, people are inevitably going to be speculating. And if the under-21 management is that kind of top-heavy...
Yeah.
Because, like, the thing about it is when Ballyhale were beaten a couple of years ago with an ageing team, it kind of looked like their run of titles was kind of at an end. But Henry came back and he's kind of revitalised them with mostly the same players. And they could go kind of anywhere from here. And like Brian Hogan, his job with O'Loughlin Gales has been even more impressive. Like 3 years there, they've been in 3 county finals. So they look like a very, very strong ticket.
I presume all is forgiven. Henry, treachery, Galway and all that nonsense.
You wouldn't know.
Maybe not.
But I mean, if Henry brings success to Kilkenny,
Yeah.
I mean, people
The
will forget them.
The handshake will never be forgotten, though.
No,
It's a great disappointment to me that both men have stayed classy on this issue, even if the handshake itself wasn't classy. But that they've never spoken about it really.
particularly because there was no real hierarchy in the Kilkenny dressing room. There was one man, and that was Brian Cody. But because Shefflin was there that young, and when the kind of Mick Kavanaghs and the people he would have naturally been with at the start started to fade away, he did kind of ascend to this sort of person, because it's a weird dressing room dynamic in that the county champions always pick the captain. But so that just means that the captain doesn't really have those kind of privileges or status. But Shefflin kind of had it. So of all the players, for there to be some sort of fallout with Brian Cody, even taking into account Cody's legendarily sort of ambivalent kind of streak when it comes to, being close to players on any sort of personal level, that was quite jarring at the time.
It was a great little mini scandal, wasn't it? When everyone was
such theatre.
It was so juicy.
The Sunday game that evening, and we've got a new angle on it, Descal, and it was like slow motion,
It was one of the great sporting handshakes. I'd be going for.
Oh, it's that and
Keane McCarthy. Yeah,
and they're the two most famous handshakes in Irish sport, hands down.
I can't think of a third.
And enough has been said about the first one.
Yeah.
But, I suspect neither of them, I suspect, will get too into the second one, Shefflin or Cody. By the way, similar theme. Kieran Donaghy's in from the cold as well into Jack O'Connor's setup. That was just announced today. There were rumours he was going to join Pork Joyce in Galway.
That had been going around for a good while,
right,
and would make sense as well, because they lost Cian O'Neill obviously last year, and Cian O'Neill became such an important part of the Kerry setup. I mean, it's the most obvious thing in the world. The only question was whether Donaghy would be happy going in a number 2 role again.
Yeah.
He wasn't necessarily number 2 in Armagh, but he was the kind of attacking coordinator. He did set up their attack. And if you look at what Kerry did in the All-Ireland final last year, it was like a brilliant execution of a brilliant game plan. You have to, the game plan there is as key as how well they played it. So having another tactical mind like Donaghy in there, you can imagine is going to beef them up.
Are they like runaway favourites for 2026
The champions always are, unless you're Armagh or somebody, I mean, I would imagine they're runaway.
Like the manner in which they won the All Ireland, and then so bringing in Donaghy, a highly regarded guy, they trashed Armagh, they trashed Tyrone, they trashed Donegal.
They are, yeah, they are. Jack put him in full forward again. Maybe we'll have to see how he uses him. So that's some of Kilkenny County final. That's
a real Friday joke.
Yeah, it's not. It's a joke is even a strong word. That's some of what's going on over the weekend. There's an email in, lads. Just listen to last Friday's bits and bobs, and in particular the sport. What's it all about? Chat. You missed a good one, Connor.
What's it all about?
Yeah, it was an existential crisis a listener was having. But anyway, we'll push on. I'll tell you what it's all about, says Dave. My son's about to turn 7 at the weekend. I had previously bought him Manchester United kits up until now for his birthday, despite the fact I knew I was pushing water up a hill. A couple of weeks ago, United not been very good, he means. A couple of weeks ago, he said to me, Dad, I want to support Liverpool. Can I have a Liverpool top for my birthday? To say I was heartbroken would be a massive understatement. Fast forward to Sunday, we sat down to watch United Liverpool. Nothing was said at full time for the rest of the day about the game, but Monday morning, having his breakfast, he popped his head up. Dad, I want to support Man United again. That is what sport is about. Harry Maguire, I owe you more than you'll ever know, David. I wouldn't say you're home and hose, David.
No.
I wouldn't think the good times are here. If your son is that much of if your son lacks character to that extent, then I wouldn't say you're out of the woods yet.
Just look up any of the school reports over the next couple of years and scan for the word fickle, because that's...
Yeah, I'd buy him a fake one.
Have you guys foisted sport on your children?
No.
Sporting either sport itself or just teams?
Oh, yeah.
Full-on football matches in our kitchen at the moment.
Really?
Oh, every night.
Yeah, we have a game with sort of trampoline football in the evenings, combining the two most readily available sporting goods that we have.
Sports broadcasting as well? Are you kind of voicing that? One
of the great joys. No, stay away from the media will be the overwhelming message. Sure, anyone who emails me saying any advice for I'm thinking of doing media, I can't write don't in enough capital letters. Will Slattery Sicko. Hi, Joe and team. I've no snappy first time, long time intro, which evidently is passé after more than 1 year of the podcast. So I'll cut to the chase. We don't want long time, first time anymore. We just want compliments.
People are people are trying different things.
Clear about that. Just tell us what the podcast means to you in your life.
I like LFFT.
That's fine too, yeah.
It's LFT.
Long time, first time. What did I say?
LTFT.
LTFT. Say.
On Tuesday's Bits and Bobs, as I believe the 18 to 35-year-old kids are calling it, Will, you wouldn't have heard this, Connor. Will basically was saying he was watching British Open snooker on ITV4, but it took him a long time to find it. And it was because he'd been just watching a Champions League match and he knew he had more time to fit in more sport.
Right.
We were talking about how hard it is to find snooker, but this is when this came up. Anyway, Will seeking out British Open snooker after Champions League soccer was further proof, if it were needed, that no Irish sports personality, journalist or fan has a more insatiable appetite for live television sport than him. Despite his responsibilities as a first-time father and the all-consuming nature and time pressures of building his brand, he still finds time to watch an inordinate amount of sport on TV. Genuinely, nobody I know watches more sport than Will. The commitment is to be commended. Moreover, and perhaps even more impressive, is his extensive and unrivaled knowledge of all sports across the last 20 years. See multiple examples of 2000's GAA Leinster finals, 2010's Champions League campaigns, random cricket, etc. Again, genuinely remarkable. Love the show, staple of my day. Yours in sport, Dinny.
But that is your brand, is it?
I agree with that.
I got ChatGPT to write that on my behalf.
I don't know anyone watching as much sport as you.
It's my job. That's the
No,
best part.
no,
It's
you
my
don't get away
job.
with that.
Not your job to watch British Open snooker on ITV4 after a Champions League match.
Came up.
Yeah. I know.
It came up and provided great content.
I wouldn't say great.
I'd say good.
I don't know anyone. Maybe one. I don't think I know anyone who's putting in the hours you are.
It's justified my whole life's existence being able to use some of these like nuggets on the show because it's retroactively made it work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the time,
Do you feel cheated if you watch sort of like, something as obscure as British Master Snooker?
British Open.
British Open, sorry. And you never get to use it.
There's always a time. He knows it'll come out.
I'll know it'll come
Eventually.
up. It'll always come up. It might be 20 years' time, Connor,
Yeah.
but it might come up.
The harder he works, the luckier he gets.
Exactly.
Come here, though. You just watch it because you love it, don't you?
As opposed to what?
What sports won't you watch?
As opposed to watching it for I'm a sports journalist. I need to keep my finger in all the pies. Like when you were watching. So if I watch a Champions League match, I'm like that's me fixed. I'm now going to go on to Netflix or Apple TV. I'm watching lots of different things. I'm gonna watch binge on 4 episodes because I don't want to watch more sport. But you're obviously I've finished Champions League, 110 minutes at a time included, and you're like, I've got an hour. You're like, I need to see sport because I enjoy it.
Yeah, I was like, what else do I watch now? Do I really want to watch a show? No. What's on? Go on to Flash Score, see what's live. Trump versus Sean Murphy, and then it took me 10 minutes to find ITV4 as I outlined. But
And you sit there and you think, oh, lovely snooker, and enjoy it.
yeah, I like snooker. Yeah, no, I don't know why. Why do I do it? I suppose it ties into what you guys were talking about with Rudd and Dan last Friday. Like I just always enjoyed watching matches, and
No, I get it, but you have a high threshold. You're not, you know.
Was there anything you don't watch?
is there anything I don't watch?
Or instinctively turn off? Or remember that when you turn it on, that you actually didn't want to turn it on in the first place?
Not really. Like I enjoy watching cricket, tennis, F1. Like some of the ones.
F1.
Don't know how far down. Like I wouldn't be watching every race, but I would turn that on and watch it if I wanted to. Yeah.
No, I think he's hard to beat. Gave me chapter and verse in a baseball story the other day. You know.
It came up. See, that's what these things come up eventually. So all my hard yards have paid off.
Well, it's been noted by Dinny. I'll come back to some more emails later on. So in news happening today, give or take, Mo Salah. It's actually unbelievable. He's done a social media spring clean, otherwise known as scrubbing all mentions of Liverpool Football Club from his social media. So on his X account, he used to have footballer for LFC, and now that's been taken off. A very adolescent move, isn't it? Benched against Frankfurt, obviously, during the week. Understandably, given his 3 goals and assists in 12 matches and not playing well. He came on about 75 minutes, should have squared the ball to Wirtz. I was like, he is selfish. He's a selfish player. Unless things are going really well for him. And he didn't. And then he didn't storm down the tunnel, but like a few people said, the body language was of someone who wasn't pleased to have been on the bench that night. And now a few days on, he scrubs his Liverpool mentions. So that's not just a...
It's the curse of the massive contract. Like how many players have you seen like Mesut Ozil at Arsenal or players who get to 31, 32 and sign that enormous contract and then realise that you're kind of like Salah's the last guy in the chain. He's the fellow with the end product. That's the only thing that he's there to do. And it's almost like it's just slightly gone beyond him now at this stage, or enough of the. It's not his team anymore. It doesn't feel like his team anymore.
No, I accept all that, and that's fine, and that's tough, and aging is grim. But behaving like a petulant.
But do we know that that's like?
I'd love to know who instigated that. Like, does he get on to his social media manager and says, you know what? Arnie Slots pissed me off. Will you delete all this? Or is the social media manager are they cahoots over? Does he go to Mo Salah?
I don't know.
Like,
I'd like to think his team, if he was in a fit of pique and said, get rid of it, would have said, whoa.
Hang on there, pal.
Because even if
they're paying us 400 grand a week here, we need to.
Well, there's that, and then even if Saudi are going to come in for him, it's like, let's not give away our leverage. You're not desperate to leave here, pal. They need to prize you away with an extra 300 grand a week on top of what they're offering.
And he was dropped for one match. It's like, delete all the Instagrams. Like,
it was remarkable though. Like, I've never seen such a kind of. Like, I read the first argument for Liverpool dropping Mo Salah. And it was kind of like, ooh, there's an interesting take. And within like 48 hours, everybody who has a corner of a newspaper was making the argument for him to be dropped. And then he got dropped. Like, usually in a situation like that, something just works. Like, it has been.
I know, but there's also an argument he was just rested because he didn't play away to Galatasaray, and that's not a drop-in. So I don't fully consider him dropped here for Frankfurt. I think if he didn't play the next game, then you'd say, okay, he's now out of the team. You know, you're allowed to rest your elder statesman for a Champions League match you're going to win anyway, and like, you don't need to win because it's so easy to qualify. So I just thought it was premature on his part. It makes me wonder what is going on behind the scenes here, because you remember him, like King of the Castle, the end of last season, where it's like, the numbers, guys, I don't even have to track back.
He was particularly praiseful of Slot's contributions. That was it.
Like, managed him, and you know, you don't have to track back, and we'll facilitate your current physical state. So from that to this is quite something.
Because it's fascinating, because like, Liverpool still don't know what their best team is. You can clearly see that from their team selections. And if Mo Salah doesn't fit into that, how they manage that, because he is the biggest star on the team by far. And they had to give him the new contract because you couldn't have let him walk after last season. It was just too good of a year. So it might just be a case of it was bad money ultimately and he leaves in the summer. But I'll be very interested to know how Slot manages it, because at the moment he is not playing well enough to start.
I think it's kind of messed them up that the signing that is playing the best of all the new signing is Ekitike, who's probably the one that, if you look at the squad, you'd draw up a first 11 without him.
He was bought as support.
Yeah. But like, if you look at the price that they paid for Isak and Wirtz, like,
have to play, really.
You have to play, and then you have to play Ekitike because he's the guy scoring goals, and then all of a sudden, where does Salah fit into the team?
Yeah,
but from Slot's perspective, it's like, Mo Salah, is he playing well enough to start? Maybe not, but the best path for Liverpool to succeed is for Slot to get him playing well.
I didn't see.
So then that's where the great managers come in. You have to, rather than say, okay, you're not playing well, I'm putting you on the bench and trying to mould a new team without you. It's only 6 months since you were playing unbelievably well, so he needs to find that.
And he'll be off at African Cup of Nations sooner rather than later as well. Like, there is that aspect.
I only flicked on every time there was a goal, flash came up, I'd flick back on the Liverpool match the other night. Yeah. I was trying to figure out what way they had kind of lined up their attack. It kind of looked like it was Isak that was dropping off more, and Ekitike was playing more as a striker, because so I don't really like, none of them are the same kind of player as Salah anyway. Yeah. So if they're leaving him out of the team, it would look like to be more of a structural thing than just a direct swap for a preference over him.
Yeah, it's very early to say. Like, that, it's one game in Frankfurt and they weren't very good.
No,
I find it fascinating generally though what they're doing. Just all the players they brought in, all the guys that left. Like, there seemed to be a much more clear hierarchical structure last year of the team and how it should be picked. Whereas now it just seems like, that's what's funny. Like, you know, Arnie Slot's getting criticism for going on holidays during the international break, because I thought he would go into a room with his assistants on a whiteboard and say, let's just nail down what's our best 11, because, you know, he had 3 matches in a row: Palace, Chelsea, Liverpool, and United, where in effect it ended up being kind of like throwing on all your good subs and kind of an all-out attack. That's not a way to win a league. Like, you need to have it from the start, not just kind of a deluge of attacks at the end when you're kind of chasing the game.
Yeah.
And it still doesn't look like they know that.
They need to do what Arsenal have, which is kind of a rolling system of players getting injured the whole time and missing 6 weeks. So you only ever really have one. You might have a big squad with lots of impressive options and great depth, but you only ever really have one kind of blue chip option fit in each position at any given time.
Yeah. Well, look, send your emails in as he scores a hat-trick against Brentford as you're listening to this. You know, it's just the social media spring clean is kind of the striking part. Like, strange move, you know. Evan Ferguson, meanwhile, Gasparini, his manager's been talking. They lost to Victoria Pilsen. That's 3 home losses in a row for Roma. He came on as a sub in the 75th minute. That's 8 appearances, no goals. Like, it would be wrong here to give the impression Gasparini's having a big press conference about Evan Ferguson. He's a manager under pressure. The local media aren't happy. They've lost 3 games in a row. And he's talking about their strikers generally. And, you know, he's saying how we are weak at finishing. He's not just talking about Evan Ferguson here, but he says we're weak finishing. A lot of players up front who haven't scored in a long time. We need to take a close look, ask ourselves why. If we hadn't scored from penalties, we'd still be dry today. And then he said of Ferguson in particular, perhaps he's paying the price for his long inactivity and goal drought. Didn't elaborate on that. So it's funny because the early reports, I just thought they were probably, I think Irish media were just so keen for him to do well. It was like Gasparini, of course, going to say, oh yeah, no, Evan played well. So, Gasparino lauds Ferguson. He's playing unbelievable. It's like Liam Brady over there.
He had a good debut.
Okay.
I think it's cool then, since, you know, but after the
He
debut,
got man of the match in his debut.
he got an assist and like had a, you know,
that's fair.
a close chance, and then people kind of lost interest in after the debut to a degree, I suppose. But yeah, like, geez, no goals. It's still like his club record has been really poor, hasn't it? But
yeah, maybe that spell, and maybe he's onto something with the spell of inactivity. Because I a few people were like, "Would you shut up?" But I didn't think he was amazing for Ireland. I thought he didn't look. He in the previous window he'd look sharper for me. The first 2 matches, which was, you know, he's off the back of pre-season and probably around the time of that man of that match performance, I thought he looked better physically. He was moving quick, sharp, and I thought, great, this is Ferguson. And then a month on, just a week, 2 weeks ago, I thought it had gone backwards again. So I don't know. Wayne Rooney's 40 today. Unfulfilled potential or all-time legend?
both,
Yeah. Both.
40, yeah.
It was like him and Ronaldinho were kind of the 2 players that you nearly just forget how brilliant they were, and then just how quickly they dived off a cliff.
Now, he didn't go off a Ronaldinho cliff.
No, but Wayne Rooney was so good that when he started to fade physically and he lost his pace, which happened very early in his career, he was still brilliant, but in a slightly different way.
Do you not think he was still a powerful runner at like 28, 29, 30?
Yeah, but when he was younger, when he was 18 to 21 to 22, he was a powerful, quick runner. Like, he was basically unstoppable, and he was bold as brass as well.
At Euros, I guess, it was a little bit more electric.
Well, he became a bit more, I think, one of the best players. I think Cristiano Ronaldo was the extreme of somebody who looks after himself, and he's still doing it at the age of 40, the same age as Wayne Rooney. But I still think there was a kind of a lost 5 years there where Rooney's physical shape just prevented him from having the kind of the kind of peak years of his career.
Yeah, well, I mean,
his peak years were in his early 20s.
Possibly, yeah. Even though he was talking to Rio Ferdinand recently about his problem with alcohol. I mean, the lifestyle was just...
Yeah. Like, he's open about it, so I think it's okay to say
yeah.
it, you know?
But, you know, I'm softening on him because I was very much Wayne, where did it all go wrong kind of guy for a long time. But just the passage of time, and even you see clips of him now popping up, especially today, like, you forget what a brilliant tackler he was. Like, the work rate was just off the charts. He was such a complete footballer.
There aren't even there are no players around really.
No one like him now.
Like, even that United team, I know Ronaldo was there, but himself and Tevez were kind of tearaways. Like, they gave them so much energy from the front. And the thing about Rooney was, like, okay, he scored that goal against Arsenal when he was 16 or whatever it was, and he came on against United that time and he kicked somebody up in the air, and you knew that you were dealing with something special. But I think we're always looking for that kind of sign that we're living through the era of the greatest player of all time. That's why he was so great with Tiger and Messi and all the rest. But I don't support United, but I do remember watching his hat-trick against Fenerbahce in his Champions League debut. I remember thinking, this is a thing we'll be talking about forever. Like, this guy is going to be one of the all-time greats.
And yeah, he was so versatile. Like, depending on the needs of the team and the personnel United have, he took on different roles. Like, when Ronaldo was there and they won 3 leagues in a row, like, Rooney didn't score 20 league goals in season once. First season after that, 20 league goals in the season. The year before, Van Persie comes 20 league goals in the season. Van Persie comes, he kind of takes a step back scoring wise, but is still playing a really, really good football. Depending on the needs of the team, he was able to tailor his game.
I mean,
he
to his own detriment.
He was so complete.
Massively, so complete. Like, there were times, there were a couple of peak seasons where he's shunting up and down the left wing.
Yeah.
Because Ronaldo's not going to track back, so I'll do it.
And if he wanted to play striker the whole time, like, he
didn't.
Yeah, that's it. Like, he could have scored.
Ferguson was saying, like, you play number 9, and he's like, I just don't like it. I'm not involved enough in the game. Like, he's such a street footballer. He's kind of Gerrard-esque at times, the tackles and the running. And
Scored some of the greatest goals.
Oh my God, sacrificed himself. There was definitely a knockout game against Bayern Munich. Can't remember the year, but his ankle was busted, and he was like, "I'm playing anyway," and he wasn't the same for about 6 months. But it was a legacy of that, I've no doubt. He was that type. So I've come. Okay, I know he didn't have the longevity, but for the sheer all-roundedness, and like Manchester United's all-time goal scorer, where did it all go wrong?
Yeah, England's all-time goal scorer.
England's
Yeah.
like
Second, Kane.
Second.
okay.
Yeah.
I've softened my, because when he retired, I was like, oh, it's just a pity.
I liked as well that like his
I think he's a legend.
his personality on the pitch was reflected. You know, they tell that story about the first time, like when he joined United, and I think they told it on the podcast where he hit the remote control on Roy Keane. Roy Keane was watching the Rugby League, and Rooney switched on the X Factor, and like nobody else would have done it, would have had the balls to do it. But he was just that sure of himself in the world that he was quite happy to sit back and snigger while Keane went off on a mad one.
Yeah.
One of those rare, like, prodigies, like that. Like, I still remember that goal against Arsenal, and he had he could have been anything, and he did. He achieved it all. Now he didn't. It wasn't as long as he wanted, but he one of those rare, kind of prodigies from a young age who actually then deliver on their talent. And his talent was so vast that he still probably didn't reach the absolute apex, which could have been like Ronaldo, as in a lengthy career at the very top of the game. But he still won the Champions League. He won 5 Premier Leagues. I suppose maybe his England career didn't go great. Like, he was quite poor at most of those major tournaments outside of the Euro 2004. Like, got the red card in 06, which at the time was a big flashpoint. But absolutely unbelievable player.
Did you ever see the clip for Galaxy where he sprints back?
And then he plays the cross.
There's a guy, and he not only makes the tackle, but he's such a great tackler. He traps the ball with the tackle, and then, as you said, plays this incredible diag, and they score the winning goal. He's such, like, the attitude is just immense on the pitch. It's so in contrast to the lifestyle off the pitch, which is so unprofessional. But when he was on the pitch, he was kind of faultless in attitude. I never saw him take his foot off the pedal in a single game.
I can remember when Ferguson, when he signed for United at that time, and Ferguson basically said, look, our plan was to try and sign him next year, but Newcastle had come in with a huge bid, and Rooney was happy to go to Newcastle at the time.
Right.
And basically Ferguson saying, no, this kid's coming to United. If we have to shift things around and bring him in a year early, we'll bring him in a year early. And they brought him in, and he scored that hat-trick in his first Champions League night.
Okay. 40 years old. I saw one match of the day. He was getting a bit better, pundit-wise. He hasn't.
Do you know what he's not bad on is his own podcast. I haven't listened to it, but I have seen clips of it. And I think he's better in that situation where he's actually the main sort of centre of attention, and he just has kind of people, because he does have sort of instinctive things to say about football. You know?
I think he's good talking about football. I think his storytelling, I don't think they should be like more behind the curtain with Wayne stuff.
Yeah.
But when he's talking about tactics and players and why he likes strikers, why he doesn't like strikers, I think he's got a real feel for the game.
I watched him on Match of the Day after the Liverpool-Chelsea game, and he had a good breakdown of Mo Salah, his performance, why he wasn't tracking back. It was good insight.
Yeah, very good.
He does have a lot to offer, like, in terms of having a football brain.
Yeah, you Tom Brady.
Yeah, forgot about that. What a sideswipe.
NBA gambling scandal has blown up. I think there's a movie coming here. So this is all still a little bit up in the air, but the gist is 34 people have been arrested. Like 34 people arrested. A big FBI swoop, tens of millions across many years. It's sort of a twin scam with the same people involved. So one relates to sports betting, and then 2 is poker, rigged poker, using all sorts of high-tech equipment, and they use the famous basketball players to lure in the fish, as they call them, the rich, unsuspecting types to these poker games across the country. So, some big names if you're into NBA. Chauncey Billups, the Portland head coach, former player, kind of a Hall of Fame legacy. Terry Rozier, Miami Heat, and then Damon Jones, who's now retired, amongst those arrested of the NBA fraternity. 13 of the 34 people arrested are alleged to be in the mafia. It's funny. I looked at the indictment sheet, so it'll say things like, this is why it's going to be a movie. It'll say things like Thomas Geraldo, known as Juice. This is a police report. Eric Ernest, known as Spook. Shane Hennon, Sugar. Tony Goodson, known as Black Tony. On it goes.
Sugar Shane Hennon.
Yeah, there's all this kind of stuff. And they had details on how the poker works. So, like, they had special custom-built shuffling machines to kind of, let's get Will's cards good, your cards bad. Jeez. And then hidden cameras with special contact lenses then linked up to the cameras. And they could read certain cards. So obviously innocent until proven guilty, we should stress, and attorneys are denying this, but that's the poker side of it. And then basketball, like for instance, what alerted them to all this was a game Terry Rozier played in where there were unusual betting patterns around, like, a surge of bets on his points and his rebounds and his assists. So yeah, it's kind of a huge story, I suspect. I was just watching a report, and the FBI agent, they love their moment.
Oh yeah, they're
They
showbiz.
love their moment. So this is like a mid-ranking TV presenter pun-heavy line from our FBI agent. You know what I mean? This is serious business. You're not a celebrity. Nobody's coming to this for entertainment. I'm going to give you entertainment. So this is just the way he's talking to the press conference.
Your winning streak has ended. Your luck has run out. Violating the law is a losing proposition, and you can bet on that.
He's delighted.
You can bet on it.
He's delighted with himself.
How many times do we think he practiced that?
20 times.
20.
I minimum
in
the mirror 20.
Imagine saying at home to the wife, should I say you can bet on that or you can wager? I don't know. It's kind of...
Yeah. Emphasize the bet more, honey.
Yeah.
You got to bet. They won't get the joke.
I don't want to know what this guy looks like because I have a perfect picture in my mind of a guy.
Exactly how you think he looks.
Yeah, okay. Say no more.
If you had to draw an FBI agent...
The part of the story I found interesting was one of the players who's in trouble is for passing information about LeBron James's playing status before a big game.
Or like injury.
Yeah.
Oh,
So LeBron James was ruled out of a game. He passed that information on to people to make bets, and
Right.
I think people might be surprised in how much that happens. Like we were chatting earlier when we were talking about the story. Like I remember,
Are you legally good on this?
I am legally good on this
We can say this.
because I'm not saying any names.
Yeah, okay.
A number of years ago, an Ireland international told me.
Several lawyers just like sat up straighter.
A number of years ago, an Ireland international told me a story about a prominent coach in another country who every rugby fan would know.
Name names. No.
See, I've done my media law training.
He's good. He's good.
Texting him in the build up to a weekend's game, being like, "What kind of team is your province putting out this weekend? I want to put a bet on it."
Right.
And say you see a team selection like Leinster's today, when it's unbelievably academy heavy. If you know that ahead of time,
Yeah.
if you know if they're playing 15 internationals or 15 academy players, that's significant information.
It's very true. And we're not saying it's Leinster, by the way, but yeah, you are like, as opposed to Premier League, you'd have a fair idea well in advance of time what the team's going to be.
Yeah.
But obviously URC,
With rugby, it can be very
dramatically
massively
Yeah.
different.
If you know what who Zebra are putting out and who Leinster are putting out to continue the example, major advantage on a Monday or Tuesday to put a bet on. So
Yeah. So, and this was a very, very high profile coach in another country.
I feel like that identifies him somehow.
It doesn't. There's a million,
Very, very, very high profile.
there's a million high profile coaches working in rugby, but this one is very high profile. And I'm joking. No, but I remember being like taken aback, and this was a good few years ago now. But when
Things have. I don't even think people in the game are putting bets on anymore. Obviously, after what happened to
Rob Howley,
yeah, who's not the person we're talking about.
no, it's not.
But you'd be very foolish now to be a very, very, very high profile coach and be putting on any bets, even if you had not sought out inside information.
But then, I think in this case, it's also a case of I get the information and I pass it on to
Your wife.
a friend.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
friend makes a large bet
Oh, sure.
with the information we all have. And to be fair, there's no real way of, other than the FBI putting massive resources into catching these people, like there's no real way of like policing that really. Like,
Yeah, but as well as that, say so another competition, say National Leagues and Gaelic games, the strength of a team, it's not always on its merits because there's, managers use it to build teams and try fellas out. So if I had that information that, a county were, and I said it to somebody else and they bet on it, like.
Can I give a slightly? I don't agree with this point, but I think a lot of people would have no sympathy for bookies and therefore would think, what harm? Like, it's different if it's I'm going to go out and score 3 OGs and cost my team the game. That's very, very different. But if it's just like, I got a bit of insider info and I scooped the bookies, I don't think the public, I think they see it as borderline a victimless crime.
No, they'd probably be like, good on you.
Yeah.
Like this guy, Terry Rozier, like his case is that I think people were betting him to go under a certain amount of points and he got an injury in the first half, so it went under.
Right.
That's a different kind
Very
of case to what I'm...
Your team have been out.
Yeah, whereas in this case, it's, it's still wrong. I'm sure. Is it illegal? I presume it is.
Well, the FBI thinks so.
In Ireland, though.
To like pass on insider info.
Like, is that illegal for me to, like, if I say played for a province and I know the team and give it to a friend and they back it, is that actually illegal? I don't know.
Doesn't sound illegal.
Oh.
Sounds good to me.
How much of this stays in the podcast? Who knows?
We might need to do an extra 10 minutes at the end, Joe. Just to...
where's Tom? We need to check this.
This is definitely one for Tom.
Yeah. For Tom, anytime he sees us coming towards us.
He likes sport.
Tom, we have a legal
He
question.
loves rugby, so I'm
He does
sure
like rugby.
He loves rugby, so he'll love to get into this.
Tom, there's a parallel. It's a bit meta, but Tom, you're listening to this right now. We know you are.
Anytime I speak to Tom, it's always in print there in front of him, whereas he actually has to listen to this. So
Yeah.
this is far more.
Well, there's technology now where you can take the transcript of it. It'll just lift the transcript of the audio.
Oh.
Yeah.
He'll be reading it, be like, Tom said this, Tom.
Has Tom done any illegal betting? No, we gotta do it. Oh, by the by, just to mention, like European football last night, so it's not going as well. Rovers obviously got through the group stages last year in kind of fine fashion. We're 2 games in. Shells and Rovers both lost last night, so it's convoluted. But in effect, there's 36 teams in the Conference League, and the top 24 make the knockout stages. Like it's a good old quotient to them. Shells are on 1 point from 2 games, so they're 26th of 36, and Rovers 0 points, 33rd of 36, joint bottom. They lost 2-0 to Celje. Is it Alberto or Albert? Albert Riera. I don't remember him that well.
Oh yeah, one of those classic like sticker book players or something like that from the noughties with Liverpool.
No class. What Stephen Bradley's had to say about him. There seems to be bad blood from last year in the Conference League, where he accused Riera of arrogance, and then no handshake last night. And Riera was, do your homework here, buddy. It was like, well, he's been here 9 years, won a lot, but never got a call from abroad. I think that says something. To which Stephen Bradley said, I have had other priorities here, mate. Fairly high profile. There's a reason we haven't left Dublin. So, he said of Riera, he got 1 chance last year. He won't get another one. You get 1 chance for me to be respectful. You don't get another one. Chilling.
God.
It's like, I don't ever want to cut off Stephen Bradley in traffic. Is that my chance gone? If you're seeking approval of someone like that, you're in trouble. So they lost 2-0. I saw the first half of this, and to be honest, Celje were just the better side.
What a lovely goal.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
watching it upstairs earlier.
Franco Kovacevic, he scored a bunch of goals for them. I think 10 in 8 games. A really good goal. And then Rovers were better in the second half. Shells 1-0. OG laid on in Macedonia. I was talking to Dan about this. We'll get into it next week. Maybe he sort of thinks maybe if Rovers have been unlucky with the draw, like Celje as as one of your mid-ranking teams, very strong quarterfinal last year, but they haven't risen to it like last year. Rovers, there's no doubt. And then Shells, they have a point. We'll see, but he thinks there's a fair chance. Obviously, neither progress. Long way to go. And then Europa League, the next one up. Liam Scales scored for Celtic. They beat Sturmgrass 2-1. And Robbie Keane, just to mention, Ferencváros won 3-2 against Red Bull Salzburg, which means of the 36 teams in the Europa League that Ferencváros, I keep saying varicose veins here. Give me a professional one.
I'd have gone for Ferencváros.
Yes, that sounds better. They're 7th of the 36 teams. They've played 3, won 2, drawn 1. So cruising here into the Europa League knockout stages, anything is possible, etc. And around the time this is going to be happening, Ireland may well be looking for a new coach. And yet there's just a cool atmosphere in the public towards Robbie Keane. Like anyone who's in touch with us, it's Duff, even Roy and Duff. You very rarely get anyone saying Robbie, be it for the Maccabee stint or even just there's a general standoff.
That doesn't it? It's not. I actually don't think it'd be accurate to be like, oh, it's just because of the Israel stuff. Because I think for some reason there's been a coolness. I know he got criticism around the time of being involved and his contract and stuff like that.
The FAI, yes,
yeah.
Where he would say he was within his rights, but
yeah,
it was, some people took a dim view of it.
But yeah, it's an interesting one because his CV is more impressive than Damien Duff's, is it on paper? I don't know, or as impressive certainly.
You can certainly say he is managing at a higher level if he's Europa League and going to the knockout stages.
And he was an assistant with, at Middlesbrough, wasn't he, with Jonathan Woodgate too? So he's at different levels. But yeah, there's no clamour.
No clamour.
I would have thought that, we're obviously very personality driven around here. It's probably the consequence of being such a small island.
Why this podcast is such a hit.
Yeah, we kind of think that we know these people. And Keane has always been a little bit cool that way, just in terms of a media sort of profile or a public profile. But in terms of going and doing it, like I assume that Robbie Keane is a very wealthy man. He must be, all those big transfers and everything else.
Yeah.
And he's gone to Israel in as sort of ethically wrong as that seems to a lot of us. And then he went to Hungary So he obviously has a very strong interest in coaching and management. He obviously has ambitions. He's doing this the hard way.
Yeah.
Like I know that when he went to Israel anyway, his family sort of didn't go. Like they stayed here in Ireland. I don't know what the setup is like in Hungary. So here's a guy that has very, very serious ambitions. And
we're not laden down with
no
offers.
No, we're not laden down with offers or high profile candidates. So I would have thought he'd nearly be top of the list. I know that Damien Duff, there is a kind of there's a Paul McGrath vibe about Damien Duff in just how much people love him no matter what he does.
Yeah.
But I'm not necessarily sure that that's sort of on the interview template.
It's not, but it's not. I think even if Duff wasn't a candidate, if say the world that Duff has never managed, I still feel like everything else is the same. I don't know if people would be rushing to Robbie Keane, which is strange. He's our top scorer ever, and I know, as you mentioned, there's been some controversies with the Israel stuff, but yeah,
I agree that the standoffishness sort of predates that.
Yeah,
it's not like a beloved figure turned. Oh, people aren't happy. It wasn't that.
Go back to his playing days, even like
he
was
spiky enough. Even when he went on wasn't he on the Late Show one time and
defending Staunton?
Yeah, having to go with the media and stuff like that, and like they'd lost 5-2 to Cyprus, and it was just I don't know. He came across as very chippy in a way that you feel like you're kind of putting the record straight, but actually how it's being interpreted by the audience is somebody who's being chippy for no reason, but there's a fella who's going to back himself no matter what.
Yeah.
And I would imagine if he goes well, again, I don't know whether Ferencváros is one of these clubs where you either win the league or you're a failure, but
I suspect it is, yeah.
If he does that and he does fairly well in Europe, like it would be interesting to see. What's interesting is that we always use English football as the barometer of the success or otherwise of our players and coaches. And if the job comes up again as quickly as it looks like it's going to be, and Keane and Duff are both in the frame, like neither of them have actually managed there. So, it'll just be interesting to see what people's opinions are of what's the bigger achievement, winning a league with Shells or going winning 2 league titles, albeit in Israel and Hungary.
Be interesting if Keane, if say he was offered it, would he think it's an upgrade or a downgrade to take it? Suspect up Euro 2028, live at home in Dublin.
I'd say he has a serious ambition to manage Ireland.
Yeah,
you're having Euro 28 almost in the bag.
It's
is very attractive.
Big selling point
in your home country
for anyone.
Yeah.